I'm Dr. Nas Farsian, and I'm starting to create a channel called Inner Wellness just to help people improve and uplift their wellness in relation to all aspects of physical, psychological, mental, and emotional, and the whole person. So if you want to know a little bit about my background, I'm a researcher, academic, more specifically in holistic health. And recently, I have been established my very new small, or I don't know if I can call it business or maybe just a private practice as an emotional health consultant and educator. So that's the reason I'm here, just to help out to achieve the real emotional health that I believe it's very important for the whole person's health and wellness. And it's a very crucial aspect of health. And also it's something that unfortunately missed out in our healthcare system. And it's obviously connected to even chronic illness management, as I have done actually. In my previous research, I have come with a lot of significant results and outcomes about this relationship between emotional health and health, overall health, and chronic illness management. So today I'm going actually to start the very introduction about this concept, inner wellness, and hopefully we continue to have a stream on this concept and help people to get more connected to their inner health and wellness. I'm very fortunate to have an amazing friend who is a healer, and she's kind of complementing me in because my background is kind of more, I can tell a little bit more scientific and evidence-based, and I feel sometimes a gap in a healing aspect, in a healing platform. And this amazing friend beautifully fill this gap. So that's why I really love to introduce her into my introduction session. And I hope that we can invite her more often in the coming sessions and in the coming, concepts we discuss about inner wellness. So, Lynette, how are you?
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome. Would you please introduce yourself, because I don't think that I have enough to introduce. I have enough information to introduce yourself, and it's better to leave it to you.
Most certainly. Thanks, Naz. Yeah, my name is Lynette Gammon, and I'm also known by my pen name, Angel Knights. So I am an author, but I am also an energy medicine practitioner, NLP practitioner, life coach, spiritual guide, teacher, mentor, a whole lot of things. And the way I came to doing what I do now is because, you mentioned the gap. There was definitely a gap in conventional medicine as to how to help people on a psychological and emotional level, but also with a comprehension that there is an energetic, some may call it a spiritual aspect to our emotional and our psychological health. And I had personally been through a lot, and if I was to put a label on what I have gotten over myself by the journey that I've taken to understand my inner wellness on all levels, whether it's the physical, inner physical self, or the emotional self, or the psychological self, or the spiritual self. So there's sort of all the four. Um, if I was to put a label on what I had, and I can say I'm definitely over it now, I would call it complex PTSD because of all of the different scenarios that I had experienced over a very long term, in so many different ways. And that's what prompted me to write a book 2 years ago, and because there was a story to tell. And it was basically, I began to understand myself as something more than just the obvious 3D physical self that, with the five senses. And in the process, I began to really develop my own intuition, and it led me to becoming a healer for other people, and helping them through their own emotional trauma, and understanding how they work on a subconscious level. It's been a big journey, and I know you understand that, Naz, and that's why we're connected. And you understand it on all the levels: the emotional, the psychological, the physical, and the spiritual as well. That connection to the heart and the core and the essence of who we are. And so that's why we connected so easily. It just happened. And we often find that we're going through our journey on the other side of the continent. I'm in Perth and you're in Melbourne, and we find we're sort of doing it alongside each other. So, something will happen for you and it'll resonate with me, and then it'll help something for me, and then something will happen for me and it'll resonate with you. And so it's been an interesting journey over the last few years that we've known each other.
100%, yeah. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
So for me personally, the emotional and psychological health is a real passion. It's a real passion, and that's because my daughter went through a lot, and then I went through a lot, and other family members went through a lot, and we had a lot to do with the mental health system as well, and definitely gaps in understanding that it's so much more complex. And of course, everyone knows it is, but there seems to be, I don't know, just a loss of something. And to me, it's about the fact that we are energy beings or spiritual beings, and there's that. For me, what I found, that's not taken into consideration. It's a little bit too much headspace, logical, which is needed, but then it doesn't come back into the heart and understand the role of the heart in healing and getting over emotional and psychological trauma, as well
yeah.
as physical, Yeah.
Absolutely, yes, yes. Yes, absolutely. I'm just on 100% resonating with, with all these, absolutely concepts that you mentioned. And the interesting part that you said, our healthcare system may, I don't know, I'm just saying, may claim that they understand this aspect. And I'm actually, as a teacher for many years, as a lecturer, as an academic, we actually talk about these things a lot.
Mm.
But practically, we fail. And that's actually the important gap, because we don't say that we miss it. We include it. We include it in all, I don't know, in all concepts, in all frameworks, in all, figures, everything. So the whole person, holistic, and the holistic concept and holistic health is not anything, is not something new. It's actually getting back to, I don't know, more than 100 years ago, when we had, some amazing philosophical theories and concepts worked on holistic health. However, I believe it stayed there as a concept, and
Yeah.
it's not still practical. And why? What's the reason? That's a gap. That's a gap. And this is actually something that I was really interested for so many years to find out about, because personally I have some, really rich mystical background. I'm Persian, and I have been connected with Rumi, Hafiz, a lot of, beautiful mystical um, stories and, rich concepts. So when I moved to health area, certainly I got more connected to the scientific aspects, but at some stages I realized these two aspects should marry in some points, because we do not see human only as biological and physical, um, being. We see human as certainly not even a combination, or I can say an integrated creation of all these aspects. So if one aspect fails, certainly the other aspect fails, and we cannot actually treat one aspect without treating another aspect. We cannot manage one aspect without managing another aspect. And that is something which is happening in our healthcare system for so many years. We do have the concept of holistic health for 100 years there. We do talk about the whole person. We do talk about the different, dimensions of a human being. And we have actually a very clear definition from WHO from many years ago, that health is not only physical, and health is a combination of physical, mental, and we do have everything, in place, but practically we fail. Practically, we have people, I don't know, struggling with managing even a physical chronic condition more emotionally. So their struggle is more emotional, their struggle is more mental, and it's totally ignored. So that's actually the main reason that I called, this wellness as inner wellness, because there should be something from, I don't know, inner side that is ignored in our healthcare system and in our conventional medicine. And that is something that we definitely need to voice up, and we need to. So I really appreciate what you mentioned about the five senses also, because we see in different theories and philosophies now that we do have more than five senses now.
Yes.
Some theories talking about 8, and some I think even talked about 11. If I am right, you can correct me, but certainly we have more than 5 senses.
Yes, absolutely. And as an intuitive healer, I'm very kinesthetic. So I've been able to, by getting in touch with within and understanding the connection between the emotions and the brain and the physical body, I've been able to really heighten my intuition. And these days I call it clairsentience and claircognizance, because I just have this knowing, and I have this sense and this feeling, and it's proven me right so many times that there is no doubt about it anymore. But it was really by bringing the link of understanding that the mind and the heart and the entire body is all just one system working harmoniously together if we know how to bring it together. And one of the things I think is really missing, because we are thinking beings, and it's so good to have, you know, the information and to learn. And I love to learn. I do a lot of reading and research in my way, not through the conventional ways, or do it in all these other ways. But having gone through the coaching industry, and being an intuitive healer, I'm so aware that unless we experience the truth of what we're learning, it doesn't quite sink in. So that's a part of what's missing in the everyday education system. There's that experiential thing where you get those light bulb moments and you go, oh yes, I understand this because I can feel the truth of it. I'm experiencing the way it is. So that experiential thing. And I guess that's why, you know, as doctors, you go into hospitals and you go through the whole experience of actually practicing medicine. But I don't think there's enough emphasis on that in the psychology world. 14 years ago, I had a nervous breakdown, and I certainly didn't understand what was going on, and it wasn't an easy time. And I did go and see a psychologist, and I was a meditator, and, you know, I knew how to do all these different things that I was supposed to do. And basically she said to me, you're doing all the right things, but it didn't help me. And that's basically what led me on this journey of, I know all the right stuff and I'm doing it, but it's not really helping me. I don't know why. So that's what really took me on that healing journey of wanting to understand the connection between the mind and the heart and the body, because I had experienced something I really didn't want to experience and was struggling to get out of it. And before that had experienced a lot of things I really didn't want to experience. And all of that was impacting my ability to even move forward. So, so I was experiencing, you know, the reality of what it's like to be in an abusive situation, to have a daughter with mental illness and who was in and out of hospital, and, you know, no one could seem to help her because it just wasn't understood to the depth that it has to be understood. So many people are hurting and lost, and because I was hurting so much, I had no choice. You know, it's like I always had this great attitude. So I had a great mental attitude of, you know, everything's always going to work out. It's always going to be okay. No matter what was happening, it will always be okay. And so that attitude did take me forward. Even when things really weren't okay, I still had that, no, it's going to be okay. So that mental attitude of being forward focused, positively focused, and not so much about positive thoughts, but really having some sort of belief that I can do this and it will get better, and just simply, I know how to be happy. So even though I don't feel good now, I know I can be. So I was experiencing that truth in my past that I could grab hold of and go, I'll get through this. I will find a way. And, well, I'm stubborn and I'm pretty determined. So I found a way, and that's what led me, as I said, to write a book a couple of years ago, or 3 years ago now, I'm not sure how long. But it was about, I've been through all of this stuff, but I've come to a point where it's so easy for me to feel peace. And even with what's going on, you know, globally at the moment, I used to be a person that had so much fear, and I'm not feeling anything but peace and hope for, you know, I've got this positive expectation for this is going to bring about a better world. So there's just, I'm actually not experiencing any negative things. Things have shown themselves, but because of all the work I'd done before, I know very quickly, just like that, what to do and how to work on it. So I'm able to, you know, guide other people when they're feeling stuff. And that's because it's been experiential for me. I've experienced the truth of it. I've experienced the reality, and I've been a, you know, person that searched for answers and wanted to know how to heal myself so that I can be the best version of myself for the people I love, for all my family, and for anyone that comes into my path. You know? I'm a helper.
And this experience, I think, yeah, that was absolutely amazing point. And this experience, I think it's very much connected with all aspects. You can experience, you mentioned hearts. I'm a very heart-based, health practitioner. So certainly when you experience with your head brain and heart brain and whole your body. And I think, at the same time, we have gap in our conventional medicine about physical health. I believe at the same time we have some gaps in psychology because psychology sometimes just miss out the body. And it's so that's all about 100% integrating these aspects and experiencing with all those, with feeling, with thinking, and with embodying, with your body. And that experience is amazing. That kind of experience is certainly related to inner wellness. So
Mm,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yes,
So
so
um, I'll just quickly say, yeah, when you talk about the psychology of it and the gap there, that's why I found neuro-linguistic programming so helpful, because it is about experiencing the feelings of it. And but I never really understood. I know they both NLP and CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, both came from the same branch but branched out. And I
yes.
never understood the CBT, which is what you come across through the mental health system. And I know my daughter, because of what she was going through some programs. But I, as a parent, couldn't even aid her or help her, because I didn't understand what that was even about. I didn't understand the value of it. And until I personally had gone through learning NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and experiencing that for myself personally, and then going through some healing through that, and then understanding that, hey, the mind is so linked with what we're feeling. And then I began to meet people and come in, have conversations with mental health nurses and different people that actually understood cognitive behavior therapy. And it was interesting because we could have these amazing conversations from two different angles.
Mhm.
And I finally personally understood the other side of how the health profession uses that thinking logical thing, which is totally relevant and amazing, and it certainly works. But without the feeling side of it, which I learnt through the NLP, um, there's something missing. And I know you have done the NLP too, so you'd be aware of all of that.
Yes.
And bringing that together is part of my passion of, seeing things change.
And the intuitive healing that you're doing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And that comes through the feeling.
I
Yeah.
think yes, I definitely believe that NLP and hypnotherapy and those both platforms that I really love both of them, and they are actually interconnected anyway. They both are very, yeah, again, interconnected to intuitive healing as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so see how all of these things can work together to integrate the whole system.
Yes.
that's
Yes.
that's that's about the whole person. So if you want just to stick to one specific platform and just defend, or I don't know, just be a bit biased to work with that particular system, and we ignore the other things, I believe we cannot address the
Mm,
whole human system.
mm. Yeah.
So yeah, so we can actually go, I don't know, down to the rabbit hole for hours and hours and just talk about these things. But we will certainly discuss more about these things in the future. But my focus for today is, and my next question is, how we can use. We know that we are now in a very I don't know if I want to use the word critical or chaotic, or if I want to use the word unique and special. So maybe I choose the second one. We are actually in a very unique and special time. And the important point is this unique situation is happening, in the whole world, and it's global. So I personally find the message, hidden in this particular situation. Uh, but what I'm going actually to ask you, and what I'm going actually to find out more about, is how we can use this very different situation. I've gone through a lot of chaotic and absolutely challenging situations in my life. So many in different aspects. So that is not really, I don't feel too difficult, to be honest, for myself personally, because I've gone through a lot of other things, but I still feel that is very different.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel this is very different. So I might have gone through much more difficult situations than this, but the nature of this situation is different. That's what I feel and what I believe, in my both heart and mind. So in my mind, yes, I cannot justify any similarities between this situation and all the previous challenges I've gone through. And in my heart, I feel something, I don't know, I feel something absolutely different, something coming to my heart about uh, newness, about a massive different transformation.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through transformation and cocoon breaking also many times, but this one feels really different. So what do you feel, and what do you have to share with us about how we can relate this situation, or how we can, I don't know, use this unique situation to just, boost our inner wellness?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I I can see it as definitely unique and special, and it's a remarkable opportunity that humanity has been given to create something completely new, something that is to bridge the divide, the oppositions that go on, and to come together as a collective. And rather than, we're so used to giving the problems a focus, and then we get stuck in the problems, and then people are just playing this blame game, and it doesn't work, because that's where our energy is focused. And this is an opportunity for us to come together and find new ways, new solutions, and create a whole new world for us. And in the spiritual world, they talk about ascension and a whole new reality, and a lighter energy. But from a 3D down to earth perspective, for people who don't really get into the whole spiritual concept, the way we do that is to come within and to calm within ourselves, because there's so much chaos, as you said, going on around us. And what that does is, we live from the inside out, but we're so used to living from the outside in. And what the outside is causing, that chaos, is causing a chaos
Mm-hmm.
inside everyone. And unless you're practiced at coming into a stillness and a calm and a feeling of ease and relaxation, it'll just keep feeling like chaos. And that's what the majority of people are struggling with. And we need now, as individuals, to realize that we're creating our world from the inside out. And what we feel when we're feeling calm, we're in a better psychological space to make a decision of what step to take next. But if
Mm-hmm.
we're affected by the outer, and the outer, we're looking out and bringing it in, and not realizing that we're reacting from what's out there because it's in here. One thing I do, I became the observer, and I still do it. So different times where something may get triggered within me, which will happen occasionally. Sometimes I just, because I'm such an observer of out there and how I feel within me, if I feel something within me that is not something I want, and I know it's been triggered by something out there, um, I'll step back and I'll observe myself and I go, wow, what am I feeling? What is this feeling? And I'll acknowledge, okay, there is the chaos and I am feeling something within me that I don't want. So I acknowledge it first and then go into the positive, the positive thoughts about it. But always I acknowledge it first, because otherwise I'm trying to escape it. I'm either trying to hide it or fight it or run from it. And if I'm doing those, then I'm not going to find a solution. I'm not going to be able to come into that calm. I'm going to be separated from myself. I'm going to be pulled in this way and that way because of stuff outside of myself. So I always acknowledge first if I have something within me that I've been triggered or don't like the feeling, and I acknowledge that. And I don't try and deny it. Too long I was in denial.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be all right type thing. And that's a great attitude to a point. But if you're in denial of what you're feeling, you're only hiding it, you're running from it, or you're fighting it.
Yes.
So eventually it catches up with you, and hence the nervous breakdowns 14 years ago. But so I acknowledge it first, and even if it's really, really difficult to sit in, I acknowledge it first, and then there's a lot of things that I've done to help me um, ease that. Sometimes when it really feels like it's stuck, I will literally just move my body. I'll just shake it, or
Mm-hmm.
I'll tap it, or stamp my feet, or even
Mm-hmm.
just arms up in the air, using the physiology of the body to go, okay, I'll just put my arms up, I'll put my hands on my hips, I'll use the physical body to move, because I don't like this feeling and I don't want to be in it. So I'll just move my body and acknowledge it.
And that
And
movement actually, helps moving the energy, just
yes,
flowing, the energy, yes, in the body,
yes,
because yeah, you can shift your flowing energy with your
yes, yes,
movement, yes.
yes. Well, yeah, all the energy meridians, that they moves all the energy. So just moving your body will do that. Several years ago, I went through a particular experience that was quite emotionally challenging, and every single morning I would wake up with a knot in my stomach,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just always there. I'd have that little bit of relief while I was asleep, and that'd be great. But then when I woke up, that instantly that knot in my stomach was there, and this was before I did neuro-linguistic programming, which helped release a lot of that. But what got me through was, the first thing I would do is I would just take a really deep breath and connect with that breath, and just basically force it in. And then there was one word I used. So I was using my breath, my body, my focus. There was one word I would use, and I would just say the word happy over and
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over, because I couldn't escape that knot in the stomach. And within me, I had experienced in my past so many times where I'd been so happy. So the word happy didn't trigger anything negative. And it was what got me moving and got me out of, just settling that knot in the stomach to begin with. So that's where I discovered, using using words, using your mental capacity to be able, your ability to be able to focus, and deliberately directing the focus, even when it was like nothing seemed to make any sense. But it was helping. It was feeling like that little bit of relief in me, and it was getting me moving and moving forward. Otherwise, I just would have been stuck. Not a depressive person, but I could imagine someone becoming depressed when they're
Mm.
when they're just stuck in that. So moving the body was a big one. Just breathing, and a simple word like saying happy over and over and over like a mantra. I could not sit and meditate. I used to be able to, but because of all of the chaos within me through all of these different experiences, I couldn't calm my thoughts to be able to come into a meditative still experience. And that's where I learned many people can't calm their thoughts, and they need to use their body. They
Yeah,
actually need to
yeah.
move and bring their focus within their body. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. I actually had a couple of clients and quite a few friends that they told me they are not able to do
No, no.
meditation right now. And yeah, and I agree because I felt myself, because I had some other things, happening around plus this one. And at some stages I thought I don't feel actually to sit somewhere still and do meditate. I can feel it. So this is exactly what I did. I just, played the music and I moved my body
Mm,
and my state changed. My
yep.
state, after half an hour, totally shifted to a positive state. And yes, that is, I think, very important. And that's about the connection between heart and mind and body. Because, if we just miss body and we just think, okay, so by thinking positively, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. We just need to make sure that we do not, get to the pitfall of perpetual positivity because we don't
Mm,
want to deny the reality. We don't want to deny. We need to acknowledge. Exactly. So the acknowledge is the very first thing. So yeah, so the third dimension reality is there. Yes.
yeah.
So we can create our new reality. The very first step is just acknowledging what is there and then work, I don't know, on our own heart, mind, and body just to shift it. Yeah, that is amazing. Yes, so moving body. And the other thing that actually I found really amazing is just after this acknowledgement and moving body and shifting the energy, having, those repetitive words, like, you said, yeah, happy, happy, happy. I haven't actually tried that one. I'm interested to try this one. Maybe I use some other words, but not in this way. Just say,
Mm,
one word, over and over and over again. So I'm going to do this next time after,
yeah.
my, yeah. So yeah, that's amazing. And that is actually how we can just get back to our balance. Yes.
Mm, yes. Yeah. I find the power of words amazing. There's another thing I used to do back then when I did wake up with the knot in my stomach, and saying happy, 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 and just move. In the night time, there was a process I did as well, and it was using words, and I would go through. This was I heard through somebody else. I would go through the alphabet, and I would find words that made me feel good inside with each letter of the alphabet. So, for A, I might write, yeah, I might think I would lie in the bed and I would snuggle down. I go, oh, A is for adorable, and B is for beautiful, and C is for calm, and F is for focus, and E is for excitement. And I would just go through that, and that kept my head busy because I was still under a lot of stress. So it gave me something to focus on, but it gave me something that felt good within, and it helped me to relax, and then I could fall asleep. And so I would
Mm.
fall asleep then. So yeah, so I did that at the end of the day as well. So
How
it
you
really,
connect these things with your intuitive healing?
how do I do that now?
Yeah, when you do these kinds of practices, I'm not sure, how do they work intuitively? Because I think this kind of practice is basically working with mind, yes, not
Um,
intuition.
it really it got me in touch with my body. Really knows seeing the relationship between words and how it would make me feel within got me in touch with my body. And over time, I became more and more in tune with what was happening in my
Mm-hmm.
body. And then I would actually discover that I would be feeling something in a certain situation with certain clients. And, take them, say, through some hypnotherapy or guided visualizations. And I used to love to do timeline therapy with a lot of clients. And so I would just say these words, but I would feel the words. I would feel the beauty of different words as I was guiding
So are you
clients.
scanning your body when you, for example, you
Yeah.
say that body, you feel your heart and you start to scan different parts of your body about, what feelings
Yeah.
comes
Mostly,
where or
mostly my heart and my gut.
yeah.
And but I discovered in while I was doing that that when I would guide people through certain visual experiences, that at the end, and I would notice how it would feel in my body. I would get these, amazing energy surges through my body, and at the end of it, people would say, "Wow, when you said such and such, that was exactly what my visual was." And my words just guided them further. So that's when I realized that I'm actually connecting energetically in
Yeah.
a way that I didn't actually know until they told me later. But I did remember the experience inside my body of
Mm-hmm.
what that felt like. And then I became more in tune and in touch with who I am on a deeper level and understanding myself more as an energy being, and then understanding that I am connecting energetically with other
Mm-hmm.
people. But I use my own body as an indication of that. And thoughts just naturally come in. So it's an extrasensory ability that we all can develop, because
Yes.
I certainly didn't have it before. But it was because of having to heal myself and getting in touch with my inner self and understanding that inner wellness and the connection between heart and mind and gut and the entire body, and that spiritual, light, enlightened feeling within through meditation. And just it was just a melding of all of it together. It wasn't one thing on its own.
Yes.
And yeah, it's been an amazing journey to be able to
It's
develop.
amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yes. And how you can connect, simply the words.
Yes,
That alphabet practice is just something really
yes,
simple, but how it does amazingly connect to your body and your
yeah,
feeling, and eventually, as a result of all this connection, you feel better. You feel
yeah,
better in your body, you feel better in your heart, emotionally, you feel better in your mind. So it's not that hard. It's
yeah.
really not that. It's very practical, isn't it?
Very, very practical.
Yeah.
And if you can't still your thoughts and just get into that meditative experience where being mindful is unpleasant and you just want to get up and run, if you can't get into that beautiful feeling within, then giving deliberate focus, so giving our head something to do, but giving deliberate focus on words, and then bringing your attention or awareness into your
Hmm.
body. So you're bridging the gap between the mind and the heart, and you're constantly working between the two. It's not just one or the other.
Yes.
And so if you really can't get into that,
Mm.
still meditative a place that we all know, or if we don't know, we've certainly heard that it's supposed to be really
Yeah.
good for us.
Yes.
But
And
if we
also
can't
we can,
really
sorry, yes.
direct,
Go on.
Well, yeah, if we can't do it, we direct our thoughts. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And I was just going to say that is because I just grabbed the term meditative state. I love it because when people ask me, do you regularly meditate? I usually say I am regularly in my meditative state.
Yes.
Rather
Yep.
than saying I do regularly meditation, because I can actually be in my meditative state when I'm working, when I'm
Yep.
in the front of computer and typing and communicating with people, when I'm teaching, when I'm just communicating with work friends, when I can be in meditative state
Yep.
all the time. Yeah, so that's a very important point. So maybe we just need to make these things a little bit tangible, simple, and practical, rather than just concepts over there and it's difficult to achieve, difficult to handle. So meditative state is exactly like what you said. It's
Mm.
really practical, it's simple, and it can be done anywhere, anytime. So
Yep.
yeah, just move your body, feel it, and work with your mind, just with some, I don't know, playing with some words and feel it with your heart. Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah. So we can go further and further, deeper and deeper, um, you know, down in this
Certainly.
rabbit hole for hours. And we know that we can talk about these things, Lynn, for hours. But I would like actually just to possibly end up, because we don't want to actually get our audience just, I don't know, tired,
Overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. Yeah. So maybe we can just discuss in next sessions more about these things. But before we um, finalize this session, what is your final message? If you want to just, wrap everything up from this session and all we talked today, what it would be?
Um, I guess it's coming into your body and really getting to becoming aware of what you're really feeling. Like sometimes we're in denial, sometimes, like I said, we're either running or we're hiding or we're fighting, and we're not really aware of what we're really feeling. So being really true to ourselves and examining what am I really feeling here, and then acknowledging it. That's the first step. And if that's all you can do for now, you've taken the first step. And that is just, if you can know that, then you're on the way.
Amazing.
You're on
It's
the way.
amazing. I can feel it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got tingles all through me.
Yeah.
So I feel amazing. So coming within and just being really true to yourself and honest to yourself, and asking yourself that question, what am I really feeling?
Mhm.
And acknowledging it. And then I guess the next step two is knowing that in that acknowledgement, you've taken a step. And in taking a step, you're moving forward. So, the journey's begun. And that's the first step. And that no journey can begin without that first step. So
I
it's
love
really
it.
good to know that.
I
Yeah.
love it. Yep. What am I feeling right now in my whole body, and how I can take the next step? Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just comes.
Amazing.
It comes. Yeah.
Absolutely. If the acknowledgement is quite deep, the next step will show up.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Just, before we're going to just to finish up, and we will definitely see you in the next session. But can I just ask you just to tell the audience where they can find you?
Oh, certainly. I guess you'll put up my name, Lynette Gammon, but you can also find me on Facebook under my name or under my pen name and in the website www.angelnightauthor.com. So you can contact me through that if you don't use Facebook. And yeah, I'd love to hear from anyone. If anyone's got any questions, just would like a little bit of guidance or clarity on something that we've spoken about today, feel free to contact me. I'm so passionate about this work. So yeah, Facebook or the website. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
And I
Thank you.
loved chatting with you. That was amazing. So, yep, until next, thank you very much for just, just giving, me your time to have this, I don't know, so I think, uplifting chat, and we will do it and we will discuss more about these things in the next sessions. So thank you. So bye for now and
Thank you.
until the next.